3 true scary stories that happened during prom night. Story number 3. Anonymous. Graduated senior year. I met my fiancé Mark late in school. My family moved because of my ex-stalker Daryl, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to prom. He was 22 years older than me at 18. You entered my life during a terrible period. I started using heroin after he went crazy and left the service. As much as possible, avoid him. He tried to break into my family's home 3 times, so I required a restraint. My family worried about me, so we moved. I was nervous about prom since Daryl, my ex, knew. We considered attending my prom together after our pals moved. Friends escorted me home and swore we weren't following. I was afraid Daryl would discover me at prom. Mark always forgives. He stated he was supportive and wouldn't suggest prom if I'm comfortable. I took a limousine with friends to the great catering hall 30 minutes away. I was paranoid while eating, dancing, and socializing at our table. Mark's friend gave me a tiny shot vodka bottle to relax while Daryl was in the building. Though I almost puked after drinking it in the lavatory, it worked within 30 minutes. We went to a post-prom party with friends after a few hours. I noticed an unlit automobile in front of the arena as we went for our rides. Although I didn't know if Daryl drove, I saw a baseball cap-wearing person sitting in it peering down. Unable to see their face, I notified Mark, who said to relax, it's not him. A friend drove us to Melissa's house for an after-party. I peered behind us, but many car-filled roads hid my vision. I heard Mark whisper, relax. Everything was fine when he held my hand. Melissa's nighttime guests numbered 20. Everyone drank. Both Mark and I wanted home. We went directly to his sister's car after Mark contacted her to pick us up. I searched the street for anything weird, but found nothing, so I felt nervous. Mark's sister drove us home, where I slept. The only residents were his mother and sister. His retired police father worked. Mom worked late. Mark and I slept late, crawled into his downstairs bed. On the den floor was his little kitchen, bedroom, and living area. Since it was backyard level, a back door and other windows were open on a warm night. We watched a comedy. The offender was hidden by a shifting curtain when the backyard glass door smashed. Mark jumped to open the curtain as I yelled. The other side had a post-it note with on the door, "You found me." He followed me from prom to Melissa's house to here, probably heard me giggle, and knew I was down here. Paranoia was right all along. We got Mark's mother up, called his dad, and the police. After what felt like an age, the cops arrived with Mark's dad and others. Loud knocks followed the doorbell. His mother and Mark went. The police were at the door explaining the issue to my ex and the restraining order, who was following him. Cameras were banned by Mark's mother. They asked if I had texts and his address. I forgot his number and address. Finally, Mark's dad arrived. It matched Daryl's handwriting when I brought the door post-it note home. I was driven home by Mark's dad in his police cruiser to avoid being followed. Dad gave me my phone on the way home. I sobbed over the phone. After going home, my parents and Mark's father told them we weren't followed and couldn't visit. Mark's father yelled at him with a rifle, dropped the can, and raised his hands. Daryl no longer threatened me or my future fiancé. Mark's dad arrested my psychotic ex-boyfriend, who ruined my life and caused anxiety. Daryl received almost 30 years for his worst crimes, including attempted police arson and threatening an officer's home. Ailey McCann. Story number 2. Music. It was 2017. I was prom ready at 17. Girlhood is difficult. Girls need a lovely outfit to keep, unlike boys who rent tuxedos. Nice prom dresses cost a lot. My parents suggested buying a used prom dress online because they didn't want to spend more than $200. It helped me scan Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, which were new and less popular. We mostly searched the market, not Facebook. Craigslist had a $50 navy blue evening gown, former prom dress. The vendor was nearby, so I called and got an answer in 10 minutes. After we asked about the size, The seller offered to deliver. My mom denied a Craigslist visitor, so I offered to visit that day. A girl my age opened the door. A 50-year-old smiled and asked whether I was Alex. I accepted his allegation that I resembled his daughter. He said, "Come inside," looking at my mother's automobile, and entering the house. He stated it would be fantastic for the dress, promised to acquire it, and went. Dark and dusty living room. After texting Mom to go to the front door, the man asked me in and examine my clothes. I requested he carry the suit to the mirrorless living room. I prefer viewing the dress beforehand. He arrived in the living room empty-handed and offered to let me try the dress on the bed in the bedroom. A front door knock followed my repeated requests to deliver it here. Alex asked who, so I let my mom in. After a moment, she smiled at the man. To warn me, he made a commotion at the bedroom door. No dress was on the black bedroom bed. Mom inquired after I stated no dress. After much pain and stillness, he whispered, "I want you gone." My mother and I departed immediately. The man peered through the blinds as we got in the car with the front door closed. Shocked. What would have happened without my mom? Despite no blue clothing in the room, we reported the Craigslist post, but didn't call the police because there was no evidence of crime. My parents entered as he tried to bring me into that room, and he kept trying. Thank goodness I followed my mother and received a worn garment without our address. I told everyone during prom. Today it haunts me. From Eddie D. Story number 1. Joshua. Freshman Joshua joined our high school. He had trouble making friends. I believe he had a few scattered buddies, but no groups. Something embarrassing happened at lunch. Natalie accepted my prom invite. Natalie ate at a mixed-gender table. Joshua cautiously touched Natalie's shoulder and offered her to prom from his table. One child mocked Natalie's leaving, but the table was quiet. Natalie stated she was with me, awkwardly. Second-hand humiliation hit me. I wasn't sure what to make of Joshua's embarrassed stare. It was tough to leave quietly as everyone laughed loudly. I laughed lightly, not knowing what he expected with such a large audience at the table. The cafeteria and lunchtime teachers chased Joshua out because he required a pass. I wonder why Joshua never returned to lunch. The prom went well with the same 10 people in the limo backs, sitting at a table and dancing. We enjoyed music and drinks with 6 people around his wonderful fire pit with speakers. Anthony across from me gestured to the woods. I ate anything Anthony said wasn't there after inspecting the woods. Only Natalie, Anthony, his date, and I remained at the fire pit when one couple went. Anthony froze mid-sentence. I shouted what and saw a tuxedo-clad man walking towards the firelight from the darkness. He said, "Please don't stand." As Joshua approached, Joshua cried and grabbed a hatchet or small axe, angry. After Anthony and I asked Joshua to put the axe down and speak, he raged at us, turned off the music, and complained about how soul-crushing the lunch episode was and how he was too embarrassed to return to school. We told him to stop talking since he thought it was all over campus. He raised the axe, then looked at Natalie, said he liked her and promised to mock him with her friends again, which never happened. He mostly thought about this while talking to Natalie. Anthony secretly texted, "Bring the rifle to Dad," emphasizing our danger and location. Joshua stopped talking and pondered bolting as Anthony's father left the back door with a gun. Dropping the axe, he hurried to the woods. Anthony's dad ran over with his gun, and we couldn't warn him fast enough. Dad advised against touching the axe to leave police prints. Joshua may be charged after several days while his fingerprints were in the system. The axe fingerprints matched, but Joshua arrived too late, and we 4 decided not to charge him. Criminal charges against Joshua. Anthony's companion said he was charged with second-degree threatening but not jailed. After that, Joshua messaged him on Facebook without criticism. He read it but didn't respond. After graduation, Joshua returned to the hallways but never looked at me. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and horror videos.